This video is sponsored by EA. What up, ladies and gentlemen? GernaderJake here, and today I get to bring you another video on Command & Conquer Rivals. It's now available worldwide, and you can click the link in the description to download it right now. Also, tune in at 7 p.m. Pacific Time on January 12th for the Command & Conquer Rivals launch celebration at twitch.tv/CNC Rivals. For those who weren't here for the first couple videos, I recommend you go check them out, but I will give you a brief synopsis. Command & Conquer Rivals, it's a real-time strategy mobile game by EA's Redwood Studios. The matches are pretty quick, and you have a complete control of your units throughout the entire match, which is very necessary to win. You simply touch the units and you control where they go on the playing field, and the controls are extremely intuitive and responsive. Now, the idea for today's video, it's giving you guys tips and strategies for how you're going to level up quickly in Command & Conquer Rivals, but also I want to give you some specific strategies for how you're going to kick some butt as a GDI main or as a NOD main, as well as some, overall strategies for what you might want to look to do when trying to achieve victory. One of my biggest tips for those looking to grind their way up the ranks of Command & Conquer Rivals is to focus on all the different loot opportunities in this game. Right now, look at the bottom middle of my screen. I've got a loot crate on its way via a convoy right now. Once every 7 hours, you can order another loot crate, and for one gas tank, you can speed it up 4 hours. So realistically, it only takes 3 hours to get there. So once every 3 hours, you can get a crate right there on the bottom middle of your screen. Now, if you click on the little market tab in the top right, you're going to notice a section for crates. And on the left side, there's a common crate you can pick up once every 12 hours. Now, a common crate may not be, loaded with awesome stuff, but it's more coins and more level up cards for you to use. So make sure you're getting that once every 12 hours. Now, the biggest thing that people seem to overlook is the bounties tab in the top middle. There are 5 bounties that refresh once every day. And when you complete 5 bounties, you don't have to do all 5 in a given day. You can stack them up across multiple days. When you complete 5 bounties, over time, you will get this golden chest on the right, which has a lot of coins, a lot of level up cards, lots of goodies. Basically, make sure to just be focusing on these bounties. And if you don't like one of the bounties in the bottom middle of the screen, like building NOD militants, for example, you can click the little refresh icon. And for one gas tank, you can maybe get a bounty for something you actually like to use in battle. Keep focused on these bounties, make sure you're doing them, make sure you're getting all the loot available, and you will do a very good job of leveling up fast in this game. So now that I've got all this loot, well, what should I be doing with it? I mean, the answer is pretty obvious. You want to go into your upgrades and you want to focus on the units that you think matter most in your battles. For example, this next strategy I'm going to show you is going to utilize the flame tank. So I'm going to go ahead and invest as many coins and as many level up cards as I possibly can in that flame tank. Of course, you want to do that for any unit that you frequently use in your battles. Alright, now let's get to the fun stuff. The actual in-game strategies we like to use to kick some butt in Command & Conquer Rivals. I'm going to start with the most fun, the most simple, and honestly, probably the most effective strategy that I have developed while grinding up my ranks in this game. I call it the flame tank strategy. It's pretty simple and pretty easy to understand. What you're going to want to do is place your harvester on the map immediately when the match starts. And as soon as you get 60 Tiberium, you put a second harvester on. You want to be harvesting as much Tiberium as quickly as possible. Now, build your temple of Nod, as soon as you get 120 Tiberium. And then you sit and you wait. You might be a little stressed. You might be thinking, but my enemy's building up the control points. They're about to fire the missile. I'm sitting here doing nothing. Why am I doing this? It's okay to be a little stressed about it, but just trust the process. What you're going to do is when you get to around 250 Tiberium, you're going to place 2 flame tanks on the map and send them on over to the enemy base. By the time they start getting over there, you'll have enough Tiberium to build the 3rd. Send that on over as well. The reason you're doing this, flame tanks have a special ability to deal a lot of damage to the enemy base. So even though your opponent might be building up that missile, your flame tanks are going to absolutely demolish their base. And from what I've found by doing this strategy quite a few times, even if they've got some anti-vehicle units waiting to go after you, your 3 tanks are going to be enough to take down the enemy base before they can fire twice at your base. Try it out. It's extremely simple, extremely effective, and a ton of fun. Now, the next strategy I'm going to show you, I like to call the GDI Fun and Flexible strategy. And this one takes a little bit more intuition and a little bit more adjusting to what your enemy is doing on the battlefield. First things first, I like to set up my deck as you see right in front of you. This is a great array, a great variety of different units that can kind of attack, the ground units, the flying units, the base, as well as vehicles. This way, no matter what your enemy throws your way, you've got at least one, if not two units ready to go to counter him. So, the GDI Fun and Flexible strategy. First things first, put your harvester onto the field, and then build your barracks. At the very beginning of the match, you have no idea what your opponent's strategy is going to be. You have no idea what they're going to throw your way, so I like to get all units that I can, all ground units onto the field so that we can counter whatever they send our way. Get all 3 units there so that you can either attack the ground units, or if they send vehicles, or if they send ships, you've got something there to defeat them. I also like to get my units out as fast as possible to that middle platform, because the faster you start controlling one of these platforms, the faster the match is going to be. And the quicker the match goes, the less time your opponents have to invest in tons of expensive units and harvest tons of Tiberium. So, get the match started quickly, get all 3 types of ground units out there to counter whatever they throw at you at the start of the match. Once you start getting towards the middle of the match, you're going to start to get a sense of what your opponent likes to do as far as a strategy, as well as what kind of units they like to place. Use that information to determine which units you send and where you send them. For example, as you see here, my opponent is using a whole lot of air units. So what do? Well, I've got a sandstorm sitting there waiting to be used for this exact reason. Just in case they use a bunch of air units, I can place a bunch of sandstorms because their big specialty is attacking those air units. So I put some sandstorms on the map, send them straight at the enemy air units, and that is going to make it so I'm countering their strategy perfectly. Air units may have been my previous opponent's strategy, but in this situation, my opponent is using a whole lot of ground units as well as turrets. So here's how I'm going to counter that. When they place turrets, simply back any units away from it that you can. Turrets are unique in that they have some health, but also they deteriorate over time. So when they place it on the map, you can simply step away from them. Step away from the turrets, let them go away. That's 40 Tiberium wasted from your opponents, and that's going to help you in the long run. Now, also what I'm going to do is place Wolverines on the map. They've got so many ground units, and Wolverines are specialties against ground units. So put Wolverines on the map, send them straight at all those ground units, makes it really quick and really easy to defeat them. If your opponent starts putting down some vehicles late game, well, as you can see, I've got myself a Titan ready to go. Titans are very beefy and kick some serious butt when it comes to vehicles. So once your opponent starts getting to the vehicle stage of the game, place your Titan down, go after those vehicles. To summarize the GDI Fun and Flexible strategy, it's really all about looking at what your opponent is doing. You really don't know which units you are going to be relying on when you start the match, because it is all based on countering the strategy that your opponent is implementing. So go in with a wide variety of units, be ready to use whatever you can to fight your opponent, get the match started quickly by getting your ground units into those control points, and wait to see what they do so you know exactly how to counter. Alright, that is going to do it for today's video on Command and Conquer Rivals. Hopefully you guys learned something about how you can level up quickly, or maybe some strategies you can use that you haven't thought of yet to kick some butt in this game. Seriously appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. If you could click that like button and maybe drop a comment, I would definitely appreciate that as well. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you check out this game because I am loving it. And I look forward to showing you some more about Command & Conquer Rivals in a future video. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.